Hello everyone, this is our last video in this group on module number 3 on the unit conversion. So far in the previous videos we were able to implement a conversion from feet to inches through the click of the button and have that be the action. What we want to accomplish in this video is two things. Number one, implement more than one unit so we can see the other side of the if statement. We want to implement one more unit on the to side so we can see what happens on the else, and one more unit on the from side so we can see what happens to the else over there, and then I will leave it to you to complete the implementation of the remaining units for this project. The other thing we want to accomplish in this video is to implement other events. So far only the user clicking the button will trigger the conversion. We want to also implement the selection, so when the user makes a selection on the picker view that a conversion takes place, as well as when the user hit the return on the keyboard, a conversion takes place. So let's get started. So we already implemented in the convert module and refer to the previous video for how we got in here. We check to see which unit that the user selected to convert from, and if it is feet, then we go inside, and all of this happens if it is feet. So if it is not feet, that's the else. So else comes here for all cases where the selection from was not feet. Inside the feet module, there's another if statement that says if the unit 2, the unit you want to convert to, is inches, do this, which is apply the conversion factor by multiplying 12 by amount and put that in the result, which is a variable defined with a scope outside the if statement, so that we use to put the result over there. Now what if the so this part here is the in the case of the conversion to method unit is inches. What if it is not inches? If it is not inches, let's say for instance we go to meter. If it is not inches, then we need to do something. But if it is not inches, it could be so many other things. We have a whole different array of units. If it is not inches, it could be meters, it could be kilometers, it could be feet, it could be mile, it could be multiple things. So which one should we use? So we have to specify. So an else, a generic else, is not going to work. So we add another if statement with that else. We call it else if. When you add another if, you have to put a condition. So a condition will be similar to this condition, except it was not comparing with inches, it's going to compare with something else. So we would say here if, and send the message to the selected unit 2 is equal to string, and then that string will be, let's say, feet. If that unit is feet, if the selected unit is feet, what should I do? The result will equal amount multiplied by the conversion factor. What's the conversion factor from feet to feet? That is 1. Alright? How about another unit? So at the end of the module that has the true component of the else if statement, at the end of it I add a second else if. So else, and here when you type else, you can have else if expression. So here is the expression will be, let's check if it is selected unit 2 is equal to string, and in this case the string will be let's say this one will be meter. And then you have the body of that if statement, so the result will be amount multiplied by what's the conversion factor from feet to meter. You can Google that, it is 0.3048. You can just say 0.3. So 10 feet multiplied by 0.3 will means 3 meters. And you can keep doing that to finish all the different units in the from side. We have still miles and we have kilometers. So stop and run. So if I put here the 10 inches that I want, select feet and convert. Now it says 10, which is the one factor. If I switch to inches and say convert, it's 120. If I switch to meter and convert, is 305. And I have these two left here to specify. So what if we want another one here? We want to convert from inches. So the same idea that we implemented here, we go and implement on the other unit here. So we'll say else and add an if expression and say that if the selected unit from is equal to string, and if that string is, let's say we're going to convert from inches. If that string is inches, then I come here and say, now instead of converting from feet, now I'm converting from inches. What that changes, it changes those conversion factors. But I still need to check converting from inch to what? If you're converting from inch to inch, the factor is 1. If you're converting from inch to feet, then you figure out what that factor is, and so on and so forth. So I say if selected unit 2 is equal to string inches. If that is the case, then you will say that result equal amount multiplied by 1. Else if the selected unit 2 is equal to string and that string is feet, then you want to see what the conversion here is. So we say result equal amount divided by 12. Else if and you keep going with that. So else if result selected unit 2 is equal to string, and that string is let's say meter, then you put the conversion factor from inches to meter, and to find that you can Google this actually. So I can bring my browser here and say convert inches to meter, and 1 inch is 0.0254, so I need to multiply 0.0254. So I'll say here result equal amount multiplied by 0.0254. Now, since these numbers are small, are getting smaller, probably 0.2 is not going to be enough. I'll probably make this 0.4 so that if I have a small number, I still can see that number. And I can do more else if statements in here. And if I want to try another unit from, then I add another else statement to this module. So this whole module is for the unit from inches, and you can make it smaller like that so you can see it. I want to try to give you that whole thing, and apparently I can't get it. So but this is the one for the feet, this is the one for the inches, and then these are the ones that are inside. And you can add more here for the units to, or add more here for the units from. So let's see. So now we implemented inches, feet, and meter conversions to from. So I put my 10 and convert 10 feet to 10 feet now works. It's 10 inches and convert, it's 120 meters and convert, it's 304. Now let's switch. So if this was inches and I'm going from inches to meter, that's what the amount is. From inches to inches, that's the amount. From inches to feet, that's the amount. So notice that so far, since the conversion is done when the user at the event of clicking the button, I have to click the button every time. But if I'm only switching units to see how the number changes, I want to implement it also when the user makes a selection. So let's see how we can do that. So I'm not going to do any more with the convert. I think it's confusing itself with the units here. Or do I have an extra one? I don't have an extra one. Yeah, I would have gotten an error if I have an extra one. Okay. So if you want to add more units, you do that in the convert. But if we want to change the events, we need to add an action module to respond to that event. Did the user select? This is one of the events, the tasks that the delegate is able to do. Since this class is defined to be able to do it, to be a delegate, you can decide to implement the action that listens to the selection, which is called did select row. So if the user selected a row on the picker view, you can implement this method or this module. This module is called did select row, and it receives it's a picker view, which picker view the row and the component. So we implement the did select row, and it has the picker view, the row, the component, and then we can implement everything here. So we will have to type everything in the convert module because that's where the conversion happens. Or since this is already defined in a module, I just need to refer to that module or change the instructions to that module or send the message to myself and say, go do whatever in the convert module. So send the message to self saying, go do whatever in the convert module. So now we go and apply the 10. Convert. If I switch to inches, it changes. Switch to meter, it changes. If I switch to inches from here, it changes, and so on. Every time you make a selection, the conversion is triggered, causing the numbers to change without having to click the button. Now, I did not implement the kilometer or the miles. I'll leave that for you to implement both in the from side, from both on the from side and the to side. I also did not implement meter on the from side. When you enter the 10 and hit return, it only dismisses the keyboard but does not make the conversion, doesn't apply the conversion. So I can also do that in here. Before the text field should return, send the message to self and say convert. So when I start now, if I type the 10 and hit return, not only is it dismissed, but also the conversion happens, which will render this button convert really useless. But people are different. Some people like to click a button, some people will just click the keyboard, some people will make the selection, and when you make an app like this, you want to be responsive to almost everyone. So this will be the end of what this series of videos. Again, to submit this project, you still need to continue implementation of those units. Feel free to adjust the user interface to reflect your interest and design and personality. Play with the color, play with the user interface, the layout, and also the selection of units. You don't have to do length. You can do any other type. You can do any other type that you want: temperatures, weight, area, volume, whatever you want, currency, in anything that you want. Okay, thank you, and this will end our project for module number 3.